From hold out to hold in, NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson not practicing just yet, but he is there. Reported to Bengals training camp on Wednesday. Been trying to land a new contract all off season, and the plan hasn't changed. He won't practice until he gets a new deal.
Yeah, things are exactly the same. What I'm not going to do is, as best as I can, avoid being a distraction. I want to help the guys. The guys that have helped me along the way, Mario Davis, Cam Jordan, even Sam Hubbard helped me a lot when I was here. So to be that right now, I think that's what's most important, and this narrative will kind of iron itself out as we continue to progress towards the season.
All right, let's welcome in CBS Sports HQ NFL analysts Emory Hunt and John Breech. For context, Hendrickson entering the final year of his contract, earning a base salary of just about $16 million. He wants something on par to his production, especially considering T.J. Watt's record-setting deal worth $41 million per year. Trey Hendrickson says he won't be a distraction, but this whole thing is a distraction. John, he's either going to get asked about the contract every day, or his teammates are going to ask about him getting a new contract. How do you see this playing out now that he's at least there?
Well, if you're Trey Hendrickson and your two options are stay at home and be a distraction, or be at practice and kind of be a distraction, I would say the lesser of two evils is being there, because eventually those questions kind of go away and everyone just realizes that nothing's going to move the needle until a contract is done. The Bengals were in this situation last offseason. We saw Jamar Chase trying to get a new contract. He was holding in. He didn't practice, and that did kind of die down that he didn't get that new contract. So the Bengals are equipped to deal with this because they have been through this situation. It is a little different here, though, because Trey Hendrickson has said he's not going to play under the terms of his current contract. And if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you cannot think you're going to go into week one without your best defensive player. And so if the Bengals are willing to call his bluff, maybe they don't improve their offer. But it does feel like as recently as last week, the two sides both felt good, both felt optimistic about getting something done. So I do think they'll eventually get something done, but they are doing this the hard way. That is for sure.
Emory, I'm curious what you think here, because last season they started 1-4, right, with the same situation with a contract dispute, and it put them behind, right? If they win one of those games, they're in the playoffs last year. Like, is this another situation where we're going, hey, we're just hurting ourselves right now by not getting a deal done over how many millions that they're arguing about?
I agree with Breech, man. I think when you see him come to practice and be there, that puts us a step closer to seeing him get extended or get that new contract that he's looking for, because you're talking about one of the best pass rushers in football, back-to-back 17 sack seasons. That's crazy to think about for a guy in Trey Hendrickson. And I do feel like him coming to practice, saying he's going to kind of coach guys up, kind of get those guys ready, it makes it seem like they're going to work toward getting a deal done before the season starts. Because you're right, if they don't get this done, you run into the same problems that you had last year into this season. It's about defense for Cincinnati. We know they can score 30 to 35 points a game. We know they can put pressure on any opposing defense. Can they stop guys? They got talent. They drafted Shamar Stewart. You have Trey Hendrickson. You have an improving Myles Murphy. Cedric Johnson, I think, is going to be an underrated star for this football team because of his explosiveness. So they do have talent, but, man, you got to get all your talent out there on the field at the same time.
Maybe Joe Burrow needs to share some of his. I don't know. I mean, look, the owner's got to figure it out, because they got to get this deal done. I mean, I'll take Trey Hendrickson. You kidding me? I know they got Myles Garrett on Cleveland, but I'll take Trey Hendrickson. He's one of the best players in the league. Get a deal done. Training camp buzz continues in Tennessee with the Titans. Number 1 overall pick Cameron Ward struggling with consistency in camp. The rookie QB has been intercepted 4 times in the last 2 practices. Yeah, I know it's training camp. We still count that stuff. Not all were his fault, but he's taking ownership. Ward also labeled the Titans' offense the way most 23-year-olds would label an offense if it were playing this way.
It's football, happens, so that's my answer for it. I throw sidearm, it doesn't get tipped. I throw sidearm again, get tipped. So it's not really failure. I work hard every day. So at the end of the day, I think I'll get to my end point where I want to get in football. I just think it's not even a learning point. I've been throwing sidearms since I was 6 years old. I had tip balls in high school, college. I had tip balls here in practice. I'm going to have a tip ball during the season. So I'm not real worried about that. It's about how you bounce back the next play. You just got to, keep on stacking good plays on top of each other. I just think we're very mid right now. From my position to to up front to the receiver's position, but at the end of the day, it all starts with me. I just don't think we're at where we need to be, but we got a little bit of time, and so every day we get better as a whole. We're a young team, but that's no excuse. At the end of the day, we got to come with the right mindset every day and come to work.
So a lot there from Cameron Ward. He said the Titans offense is very mid right now. One of the reasons the Titans picked #1 and selected Ward in the draft was because their offense was mid. In fact, it was actually worse than mid, bottom 5 in scoring last season. I know both of you are hip, but just to be clear, if someone says something is mid, it means average or mediocre. Emory, do you agree with Ward? Is the Titans offense very mid right now in camp?
Based on his firsthand account, yes, it is mid. But I think if you kind of read between the lines, one of the major issues for Tennessee last year was a defense that was getting shredded. And yes, some of that could be complimentary because of the offense not being out there or being able to sustain drives. But if the defense is looking better, this offense you would expect is going to get to where it's not mid or it's just more so solid, right? And so if they can just get to solid with the defense playing how they're playing and probably forcing this offense to look a little mid, like Cam Ward put it, that's a good sign for Tennessee. Remember, they brought in a lot of free agents on that side of the ball. I would expect this offense to get it together. Again, they're going against the same players in practice that they have done all throughout camp. And we know this. Defenses can start to cheat a little bit when they know a play is coming. So I will give them a little bit grace, but I like that he's putting his feet to the fire and the rest of the offense to the fire at this juncture in camp.
Hey, mid might be bad, but it actually might be an upgrade over what the Titans were on offense last season. And when you look at Cam Ward going into training camp struggling a little bit, that's to be expected. This team is a work in progress. They have a rookie quarterback, and it's not just Cam Ward who is out there trying to learn a new offense. You have several players who are trying to learn Brian Callahan's offense. Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett. So you have Cam Ward trying to build a chemistry with two guys who are learning the offense, and then he's also trying to build chemistry with two guys, Calvin Ridley, who's already there. You've got Tony Pollard. So Cam Ward is literally trying to familiarize himself with everybody on that offensive side of the ball. This team, the Titans, has a revamped offensive line, so there's just a lot of new faces. It's going to take time to get this thing going, but based on what I've seen from Cam Ward, he's eventually going to figure it out, and this offense should be a little bit better than mid by the time the regular season rolls around.
Emory, true or false, we're going to be saying the Titans are low-key fire this season.
It's false, man. I personally won't allow us to do that on this network. There's no way. No, we're not doing that.
All right, that's fine. I mean, it sounds a little grumpy. My daughter would call you a boomer for that. All right, let's move along. Training camp buzz and injuries, unfortunately, continue to pile up for the Dolphins. Corner Kader Kahu will miss the entire season with a partially torn ACL. It's the latest blow to an already depleted Miami secondary. Dolphins will have to replace their entire starting secondary from last year. Among the other injuries, corner Artie Burns tore his ACL during Miami's first day of camp last week. Emory, this is tough. You've been around training camps your entire life. If you're a Dolphins fan, it feels like the season is already over before it even started.
But I am also Mr. Positivity.
That's
right?
true.
Because you have to look deeper within the depth chart. They drafted really well, in my opinion. They're going to need Cam Smith to step up and play like his talent suggests, the second-year player coming from South Carolina. He's going to have to play really well. But also, when you think about what they drafted this year, Jason Marshall, a guy that was my, number 7 boundary corner. I like his talent out of Florida. Physical player. They also got B.J. Adams out of Central Florida, who is my number 9 boundary corner, and he also has that same level of physicality. They're going to have to depend on one of these young guys, just like how we saw Kader Kahu step up as an undrafted free agent and make that team out of East Texas A&M. That's what you're going to have to expect from these young guys. Here's your opportunity. I think the Dolphins do have some talent, but we have to see it realize itself not only in practice, but also in these preseason games.
And one upside for the Dolphins, it's not like they're in the same division as Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. They're in the AFC East, where the Patriots offense wasn't very scary last season. Drake May certainly looked good, but the receiving core, big question marks. Obviously, they signed Stephon Diggs, could be better. The Jets with Justin Fields, so the Bills are the big threat there. So if the Dolphins, they're going to have some time to kind of build some chemistry and gel back there. And it's not just the young guys. They went out and signed a couple veterans over the weekend. Mike Hilton, very interesting signing. He had a pretty nice run with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he'll be able to contribute in Miami right away. Jack Jones was a guy who started 16 games with the Raiders last season, so he could come in and contribute. And let's not forget, Minkah Fitzpatrick is back there. That's what they got back in the Jalen Ramsey trade. So the cupboard is not completely bare, but there are certainly some question marks after the injuries that they're dealing with, but it will be interesting to see how their secondary plays out.
All right. I like the both of you being positive, so there you go. If you're a Dolphins fan, John and Emory still giving you hope there this season. We hope that's true for you. Emory Hunt, John Breech with the Training Camp Buzz here on HQ Men. Thanks. Our NFL training camp tour continues on Thursday with the Rams and the Patriots. This weekend in camp with the Raiders and the Bengals. CBS Sports HQ, your home for NFL content all year long.